Had an interesting internet experience today, and I want to document what I learned from it because basically what happened is I posted on Threads of all places, and because I've been more into writing, so I've been using Twitter and Threads. Anyways, I posted it, didn't check Threads for like days because I just like forgot it existed, and then I go to the app and it like kind of went mini viral, and I got some really positive responses and I got a lot of hate. So when I was looking at the hate and I looked at what I said, I was like, okay, well, do I still resonate with what I said? I mean, yes. But then I also looked at it like, well, was I being, out of touch with what I said? Or like I started like questioning what I said. Anyways, looking at some of the hate and I was noticing it coming up of like, okay, should I delete this thing? And I ultimately believe like when I'm expressing myself, like it was true for that moment doesn't always have to be like true, and I'm also very open to being wrong, and I know that not everything I say is gonna be something I resonate with forever, and like as I grow and evolve and learn more and like my perspective deepens or changes, I might not always agree with what I said before, and like I have to be comfortable with that reality. I also have to be comfortable with the fact that like whoever is looking at what I do or consuming internet information from anyone, like you have to give you have to trust the audience to have responsibility over what they're consuming and like really moving towards things they like and moving away from things that they like, and also trust that the audience knows that you're a person, with like they don't know you. And that those are all separate things, but I wanted to touch on like the thought came up like, do I want to delete this? And if I'm going to be somebody that's like exposing my thoughts and experiences on the internet, you have to be comfortable with the level of like disagreement or hate and like being seen. And because like one of my intentions with the whole practice in general is to increase my capacity for being misunderstood and increase my capacity for like owning who I am and trusting who I am in moments where there might be just like uncertainty, right? I like had to default to like, no, I'm not gonna delete I'm not gonna delete the tweet. Like I was just documenting a thought and like an expression and like an observation. It was an observation. Anyways, going through that stumble. After going through that mental battle with myself, I was getting confused with the button. I was thinking about it and I was like, like increasing my capacity to be misunderstood, honestly, it helps me. It also increases my capacity to change, right? Because what I've noticed is like if I am always kind of defaulting to a really agreeable nature or defaulting to like the vague semi-honest truth instead of the full honest truth or a full specific truth, it's really easy to play every side all the time. And if you don't choose a side, you never really learn about the experience of that side. And I can be really open-minded to the fact that like duality exists and like multiple things can be true, while also freeing myself from always making a case for every side and freeing myself from the expectation that I have to defend myself with every side. And like when I pick a side and I have an opinion and I own what I say, it allows me to like be open to the fact that I could be wrong, and it allows me to actually deepen my perspective so that I can be like, hey, actually, like I do want to change this, or hey, like I do agree with what I said originally, and that confidence in any given moment is what allows the door to open to explore a deeper possibility of what's possible, but like a deeper perspective around the experience than had I kind of stayed in a neutral, like I'm gonna vaguely like touch around and like not really dive into the observation that deeply. Anyways, TLDR, I didn't delete the tweet. It was interesting to experience what having eyes on me looks like, because I normally don't have that many eyes on me. And it was interesting to experience like an actual conversation happening in my comment section. It doesn't happen too often. And ultimately, I trust my ability to evolve. I trust my ability to forgive myself when I'm wrong. I trust my ability to own what I say and express myself authentically for any given moment. And if I'm doing so, that will allow me to then continue on in a way that feels like authentic and real to me. I think the part of like this whole concept about feeling cringe, like I think that experience solves itself naturally if you're being the truest and most honest possible version of yourself in any given moment. Because if you're being the truest, most honest version of yourself in any given moment, like that was true to who you were in that moment, you know? It was true to who you were then. And whenever I look back at things from my past that was true to me, who I was then, I never look at that and I don't ever cringe at that. I was like, oh, it's then I look at it and I'm like, oh, cute, lol. Like that's how I was seeing the world back then. Interesting that I see the world now in such a way. The only time that I look back on something, I'm like, oh, that was cringe, was when it wasn't true and honest, right? It was like me kind of creating a narrative that didn't feel like mine. And I enjoy the experience of looking back at things after I've changed and evolved and being like, oh, lol, it's cute that I was thinking that way then. Like now I think in this way. And I think that you get more of that experience when you just allow yourself to be true and honest at any given moment in time and like letting it live in that moment and move on if necessary. Okay, that was my thoughts about getting internet hate for the first time. It's actually not the first time. I've gotten it before, but I think like it doesn't happen that often. And overall, I'm just trying to like let myself be okay with being misunderstood, and like exposing myself to that feeling has been fruitful and exciting, but still kind of like a little stressful at moments. I'm like, whoa, like that's kind of scary, but also like, yay, life is so cool and fun.